Hey guys, this is Ballin and today I've got a new kind of video for you. And with this video I want to start a new series called Ace or Kick. And well, in this series I want to show you my gameplays and well, help you guys to improve your own gameplay by giving you advices and tips and tricks. So today it's all about roaming, therefore I got a gameplay in which I did a roaming ace in a ranked match, and while you watch the gameplay I'll explain some things about roaming. So let's get started. I assume most of you already know what roaming is, so I won't explain that, but I personally think that there are three kinds of roaming strategies. These are active roaming, aggressive roaming and passive roaming. And I'll explain these strategies to you. So let's start with active roaming. Active roaming is all about getting behind enemies and confusing enemies and like making them as paranoid as possible. To achieve this you have to run around a lot and use stairs and ladders to switch between floors so the enemy never knows where you are exactly at. And this first gameplay is a perfect example of me doing exactly this thing. So in this gameplay I knew that Fuse already knew where I was, so I had to change my position and get behind him, and that's why I got the kill. So what players often do, they focus on the position where they've seen you the last time and hope that you will peek at the same exact spot. But if you change your position and get behind the enemies, it will be very easy to get them killed. So if you want to roam actively, you should pick an operator that's very fast and has low armor, so you can run around quickly and change your position quickly, and you will make less noise than other operators with more armor. So this will help you a lot in combat. And since you will often be attacking from behind, you won't need that much armor. So if you want to roam actively, be sure to be as unpredictable as possible so that the enemy never knows where you'll be and attack from. Alright, the next roaming strategy is aggressive roaming. You could actually see it as a mix between active and passive roaming because you will be at one stationary point and you will be actively attacking the enemy over and over again. So perfect for this tactic would be a spot where the enemy wants to get into the house or plane or whatever map you're playing on. So aggressive roaming is more like pushing the enemy. I don't know if you want to count aggressive roaming as roaming, but I do. And this second gameplay is a perfect example of me doing aggressive roaming. So I wait at an entrance where I expect the enemy to come from, and if I actually hear them approaching, I use my nitro cell and use my firepower to fight them back. So what you want to do if you roam aggressively is that you peek a lot and you pre-fire a lot, because you know where the enemy is coming from, so you can shoot these spots and most of the time you'll hit somebody. So this is very hard for attackers to fight against. Alright, for aggressive roaming you could use any operator actually, because the enemy will know where you are, so it doesn't matter if you're quiet or loud if you run around. So I did aggressive roaming even with Rook, for example. But one gadget you wanna use is the nitro cell, because it does a whole lot of damage and it helps you a lot against shields, for example. Well, the last roaming tactic is passive roaming, and basically if you roam passively you stay at one point where you don't expect the enemy to come along, so that you can check the cameras and backreap the enemies once they attack the objective. So most important for passive roaming is the timing. because if you attack too early, you will likely be killed very quickly, and if you attack too late, you will leave your team in a 4 versus 5 situation, which is not good either. So if you roam passively, always use the cameras to see where the enemies are. And if you hear gunfire or explosions, you shouldn't always just run into it, because the attackers will often spray walls or like breach in on the upper floors, so use your sound and listen to your heart. No, seriously, listen to your teammates to have the right timing. Now that's it for the different roaming tactics, and I actually got some general tips and tricks for you guys on roaming. So the first one is use the cameras. Now I already mentioned this, you always have to use the cameras to see where the enemy is coming from and sometimes where the enemies are, so this will help you a lot getting behind the enemies. The second tip is learn the maps. If you know where you can like roam aggressively or where the stairs are in certain maps, you will have a high advantage because you will already know where to go. So one thing I did when the new map came out is that I took a private lobby and did my drone guide, and because of that I know the map now. So if you don't know a map, you should take the time and make a private lobby and explore the map, especially where the stairs are, where big rooms are, where the objective will spawn and where the enemies will spawn. Alright, my next tip is to use a silencer if you roam actively or passively, because if you get behind the enemy, you will often shoot them from behind, and if you kill the first, for example, the others will automatically know where you are because of your gunfire. And if you have a silencer, most of the times they won't know where you are and where you shot from, because their mates can't tell them where you are that fast. Now my next advice is to be unpredictable. I already mentioned this, so if you switch the floors quickly and switch positions quickly, the enemy will never know where you are exactly at, so this will help you a lot if you want to backread the enemies, for example. The next tip is to have the right timing. Now I already mentioned this, and the right timing is really very important, but it is really hard to do at the same time, so you have to get the right feeling for the time to attack, and this comes with playing, so you have to practice a lot in game. Next point is sound, and well, you should always use your sound in game, and if you have a surround sound headset, this will give you a high advantage because you will often hear where enemies are getting into the building. And for example, I play better if I'm not on Skype or TeamSpeak, because no one will talk to me while playing, and so I can focus extremely on the sound and where I can hear enemies, and that helps me a lot. And the last tip that I can give you is you can roam with any operator. Now this might sound a little crazy to some of you, but you can roam actually with like Rook or Doc, for example, because they have high armor and you just have to stick a little bit to the objective. So you should stay in a room that's not too far away from the objective, but not too near. So if the enemy attacks the objective, you can just get behind the enemy and create a crossfire, so the enemies have 2 points from where they are attacked, and this is extremely hard to fight against. So that's it basically for the first episode of Ace or Kick, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope that I could actually help you improve your gameplay. See you next time.